طلاب العربية طالبات العربية، مرحبا بكم في درس جديد من دروس المنحة. الدرس 39، الجملة الشرطية، يعني Conditional Sentences. الجملة كما قلنا فعلية، اسمية، وصل أو صفة، ظرفية، شرطية وحصرية. يعني شرطية هذا هو ما سنركز عليه هذه المرة. والجملة الشرطية متكونة من جزئين: جملة الشرط وجملة جواب الشرط. A conditional sentence is made of two parts: the if clause and the then clause. انظروا إلى المثال. And we gave you this example when we illustrated this sentence from types of sentences, that lesson on types of sentences. إذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. So here we have actually two جملة جواب الشرط. فانصب, the fa that's used in here. When you have time and you're done with work, then pray to your God. هذه من سورة الشرح الآيتين 7 و8. أدوات الشرط يعني the conditional particles, and they go beyond if. If is not the only word that one can use in conditional sentences, are put into two types depending on what tense is preferred after them. And I say preferred, and this is a very important point that I would like to talk about. The if clause is hypothetical, meaning that it can use a tense even though the tense seems to be different from time. Remember this issue we talked about before, tense and time. When you say, my plane is leaving tonight at 8 p.m., you're talking about the future, but you use the present tense. So we need to look at the tense that is used in the if clause with some flexibility. It doesn't mean exactly, if we use the past, that it is past. So غير الجازمة, these are the particles after which we do not use المضارع المجزوم. إذا, which means if. إذا سنحت الفرصة فسنزوركم. If the opportunity comes, we will visit you. So سنحت is in the past after إذا, but we're definitely talking about the possible, right? If the opportunity arises, we will visit you. لو also means if, but it's different now. لو عكست لأصبت. Had you said the opposite, you would have been correct. So لو عكست, we have the past here, but the past now is talking about something impossible. Had you said the opposite, you would have been correct. You cannot undo this. This is done already. كلما, which means every time or each time. كلما رأيته تذكرت أخي. Every time I see him, I remember my brother. Now, رأيته is in the past, but it's not necessarily tied to the idea of past. So notice that, Arabic says words like if with different particles. In also means if, as we will see, and yet each one of them has a little bit of a different meaning, especially لو. لو is for something impossible. We will talk about that in a minute. عادة الأدوات الجازمة عادة متبوعة بالمضارع المجزوم. So generally here the preferred tense is المضارع المجزوم. Can you use the past? Yes, it is possible also to use the past in these cases. إن تبكر تصل في الموعد. So if you leave early or start off early, you will arrive on time. من, whoever and whomever. ما, whatever, like in the sense of whatever you say, I shall do. مهما, no matter what. كيفما, however or whichever way. Whenever is expressed by أينما and حيثما, both of them. Whenever is expressed by متى. متى رأيته تذكرت أخي. When I see him, or whenever I see him, I remember my brother. So meta now is not a meta of question, it is a meta that is conditional. الشرط في العربية في الحقيقة ممكن وغير ممكن. يعني الممكن what is possible and what is impossible. And it's very interesting that Arabic doesn't use only tense to denote this. It also uses specific particles to convey that meaning. So إذا بكرت فستصل في الموعد. إن تبكر تصل في الموعد. So despite the difference of tenses in both of these cases, what you're saying, this is possible. If you start off early, you will arrive on time. لو بكرت لو وصلت في الموعد, so now we're using لو, it means had you started off early, you would have been on time. So this is an impossible, conditional. فبعض الملاحظات عن الشرط. أولاً يمكن حذف أداة الشرط. So you can actually omit the if or the conditional particle and still have a conditional. The example we have is أصغي تدرك ما أعني. Listen carefully and you shall understand what I mean. يعني if you listen carefully you shall understand what I mean. And we did not use the if. اثنين, يستحسن استعمال نفس الزمن في الشرط وجوابه. It's preferable to use the same tense in the if clause and in the then clause when possible. Of course, with إذا, it's a different story, right? So look at the examples we have. من زرع حصد, it's the same saying. Here we use the simple past. He or she who sows reaps, right? Past, زرع حصد. من يزرع يحصد. So now we use the المجزوم in both of these cases. It's better to keep the tenses similar. If we go here from the past to المجزوم, it would not work stylistically. ثلاثة, يجب أن تقترن جملة الشرط بالفاء إذا كان. Now, the big question, and this is a bit detailed and technical, when do we use the fa? When is the fa a must to use in the then clause? We have 4 cases in which we have to use the fa. First, ألف, الفعل إذا كان الفعل مضارعا مسبوقا ب. If the verb is in the present tense and it's preceded by, it's in المضارع actually, in general, and it's preceded by ما, لن, سا, سوف, and قد. إن تجتهد فلن تخيب. So now we have to use this fa. We have a لن that's preceding here, followed by المضارع المنصوب. So the fa is necessary. ب, الفعل ماضيا مسبوقا ب. If the verb is in the past tense and it's preceded by ما, قد, أو كان جامدا. If it is a type of verb that actually cannot have multiple tenses or conjugate in multiple tenses. For example, ليس, one of them. نعم, بئس. ليس is not, remember, is one of the sisters of كان. So you say, من تسرع في الحكم فما فهم الحقيقة. He or she who rushes in judging did not understand or does not understand the truth. So فما فهم الحقيقة. Now look, the ma here is requiring the fa that's preceding it, and it's followed by the verb in the past. جيم, the third case is الفعل أمرا. إذا كان الفعل أمرا. If the verb is in the imperative, or actually in the prohibitive as well, you will see, then you have to use the fa. متى جاءك ضيف فكرمه. Whenever a guest comes to you, then be generous to him or her, right? أكرمه is أكرم, and it is in الأمر, and that's why we need the fa. Now the last case is دال إذا كانت جملة الجواب اسمية. If the then clause is all nominal, you have to use the fa. Look at the example. من لم يحافظ على صحته فالمرض مآله. He or she who does not take care of his or her health, then sickness is his or her end, right? So فالمرض مآله مبتدأ خبر جملة اسمية, therefore use the fa. ملاحظة أدبية. Let's conclude our lesson with a remark that's literary and stylistic and also cultural. الجملة الشرطية في الشعر العربي. So conditional sentences in Arabic poetry. Conditional sentences work perfectly with Arabic poetry, especially classical poetry, because a line of poetry is made of two parts. This part is called the sadr, the beginning, wal-ajuz is the end. And because al-jumla al-shartiyya has those two parts, they fit beautifully structurally. Also, they fit beautifully because the conditional is a great vehicle of passing on advice. If you want to be indirect and giving your friend advice, you would say, well, if you do this, then this would happen. And if you do that, then this is a much better and subtler way of giving advice than ordering people, what to do. So, المتنبي إذا أتتك مذمتي من ناقص فهي الشهادة لي بأني كامل. If somebody who's imperfect tells you something bad about me, it is actually an attestation to how perfect I am. So you see basically the idea. Take criticism from people who are reliable, not from people who are not. لو كان هذا العلم يحصل بالمنى لما ظل على وجه البرية جاهل. شوفوا الجملة الجميلة جدا. لو، لا، صح؟ إذا، ف. Ali ibn Abi Talib, the cousin of the Prophet and the last Khalifa, basically said this, and he says, if we could obtain knowledge only by wishing, surely there will remain no ignorant person on the face of the earth. Meaning, you have to really work hard for knowledge. شكرا جزيلا مرة أخرى على انتباهكم واهتمامكم، وأراكم إن شاء الله في درس جديد.